So, Resident Evil Veronica. In this video, I will be speaking on the trailer, what I want to see in the remake, and how I personally feel about Code Veronica. As you all know, I am a huge Resident Evil fan, so when this trailer came out, I was a bit hyped, not gonna lie. Not because Resident Evil Code Veronica is my favorite game in the series or anything, but majority of the time, Capcom delivers on the remakes. Outside of Resident Evil 3 remake that was objectively inferior to the original game, the other remakes have an argument of being better than the original game. So Veronica has the potential of being better than Code Veronica, or at least on par with it. First off, I don't like how they took the word code out of the title. That's just me and the only bad thing I have to say about it. Now the trailer looks solid. I'll be honest, seeing that old lady did nothing for me, and I was wondering what the hell was going on. But based off of the trailer, Claire ends up at that hotel, and I guess Hunk ambushes and captures her. They then fly to the island, and that's when the game begins. I could be wrong, but that's how I interpret it. Anyway, I noticed the bugs, the ants, and I could have sworn I seen the gold Lugers. Other than that, it was just random clips of soldiers in the areas in the game. We really don't have a lot to go off of when it comes to that trailer, but it's good that it's been announced. I honestly said that a Code Veronica remake should have been released before a Resident Evil 4 remake, since in the main timeline Code Veronica came before Resident Evil 4, and it's kind of strange that they have the summary of what happened in the trilogy, but maybe they'll change it around, I don't know. And yes, Code Veronica is a mainline game, do not get that twisted. There's a misconception that just because it does not have a number in its name that it was a spin-off or something. This game directly ties into the main narrative with the Ashford twins, Alexia and Alfred, who were in cahoots with Umbrella back then. Wesker returned for Alexia to get the Veronica virus from her blood, and that's where the real rivalry and hatred between Wesker and Chris began. Right here, see they throwing hands right there. This is also where Claire finally reunites with her brother after all this time. Since back in Resident Evil 2, she was only in Raccoon City during the outbreak because of Chris. She was looking for him, but he had already left the area unbeknownst to her. So it tied it to so much. It is not my favorite game in the series by a long shot, but to me it is one of the most important games in the series, narrative-wise. A lot was added to the lore in this game alone. But yeah, past all that, there are some things I definitely want to see in the remake. I want to see them reinvent Steve. He was just a bad character in the original game and easily a bottom 3 character in the series to me, along with those two dudes from Revelations. Keith and Butthead, I think their names were. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. But anyway, moving on. Resident Evil typically does not have terrible characters, but Steve is just objectively bad. Now look, on paper he is not that bad of a character. Teenage boy got captured with his father and imprisoned on an island. The outbreak happens, his dad becomes a zombie and he has to put him down. And then come to find out, he had issues with his dad not being there for him, or anybody for that matter. So I get the bad attitude that he has all throughout the game. But y'all, when he has lines like this,
Wait, don't shoot! No way. He won't come. You'll just end up disappointed if you rely on others. Believe me, I know.
What was that all about?
and the other times he affects the game is when he runs off with the gold Lugers, forcing you to backtrack to the training facility to get trapped by Alfred. The other time he accidentally causes a gas leak because as he's operating machinery, he just decides to look at Claire's butt. I mean, I can't really blame them, but at the same time, dog, like, I can't blame you because y'all are surrounded by zombies and creatures and y'all trying to escape Antarctica that y'all crash landed on. So I guess I can't, I guess I can blame him. Do you see why he's an objectively bad character? He adds nothing to the plot but slowing you down and got the nerve to say this to you at the beginning of the game.
Hey, wait up!
I don't want you following me, lady. You'll only slow me down.
Yeah, alright, buddy. Capcom, fix it. The next thing I really want them to do is just cut the whole section of Chris running through a ruined rock fort completely out. I wouldn't mind if we fought the giant worm there and Chris finds out that Claire isn't there, so he leaves straight for Antarctica. That would be ideal. It always feels like this area, this section in the game, in the original, it just pads it out, and a lot of the cutscenes can just be played in Antarctica, that, you know, the important ones with Alexei and Wesker and whatnot. I want to see every single weapon from the original and the remake as well. Capcom usually does a great job with this, but you know, the handguns, you know, the shotgun, grenade launcher with all of its rounds, the magnum, bow gun, dual machine gun, etc., etc., y'all get me. At the same time, I want to see all the enemies, even the banner snatchers. And I hate the banner snatchers, but they are part of the game, so they need to be there. The hunters need to be there. The zombies, and even down to the zombies, all the little different variations, like the zombies with the bombs on their vest, they need to be there too. The dogs, and even down to the moths. Every enemy, I'm not gonna name every single enemy though, y'all, for real. All the boss fights, especially the giant worm and especially the plane tyrant, because that is a notorious boss fight in the series. Everybody remembers it even if they only played through the game one time. Oh yeah, and of course I want to see every single character return. I bring this up because I did not see Rodrigo, who was the guy that captured Claire in the original game. He didn't have a lot of screen time, but the times he did show up, he seemed important to the game. I mean, he captures Claire, gives Claire the lockpick, and later on gives Chris the lighter and informs him that Claire left the island. So he's pretty important to me, and it would be a shame if he got cut. As for the other content, I wasn't a big fan of the mode you unlock after you beat the game. I don't think it should be cut though, but maybe expand it somehow. I also think they should add costumes for all playable characters, since the original did not have extra costumes, and throw more characters into that game with a whole bunch of different costumes or weapon load. I'm all for it. Even if I don't play the mode, I'm all for it. It's more content for people to keep coming back and enjoying the game, so that's why. Oh, and Capcom, please leave a variation of this line in.
Alfred! Cross-dressing freak!
I know the LGBTQ community will hate this line, but hear me out. This line was not in any way, shape, or form any kind of phobic or any kind of label you can place it on. I'm not sure if I can use the exact term, so follow me. Claire was thinking that Alfred and Alexia were two different people at that point, and she was right. However, she found out that the person that has been stalking and trying to offer majority of the game, the entire time she was on the island, and even hijacked her plane at this point, she found out that he was cross-dressing and pretending to be his own sister. That's all this line meant. She wasn't trying to offend the LGBTQ or any trans person or anything. So I removed the line. They will, so I mean, whatever, I guess. Shame everybody is so sensitive nowadays, for real. It's really irritating. All in all, I have always liked Code Veronica the least out of all of its predecessors, but the game is very important and has a lot of lore that greatly impacted the narrative. I know Resident Evil 4 downplayed it back then and even in the remake now, but I gotta call it how it is. The most important games narrative-wise in this series, in my opinion, and probably a lot of y'all's opinion when I break it down, are the original Resident Evil, Code Veronica, Resident Evil 5, and Resident Evil 9. The other games can be summed up in a paragraph. How Resident Evil 6 is so convoluted and nonsensical, people don't even care about it anyway. And I gotta be real with y'all. I really greatly enjoy every Resident Evil game that has came out in the main timeline. So don't think I'm trying to like crap on any of these games. I even enjoy Resident Evil 6. So there's that. I'm gonna pass all that. Capcom needs to do this game justice. And no, I do not want to see a stalker enemy in this game. There wasn't one in the original and there shouldn't be one here, respectfully. These are the best versions of Claire and Chris. They need to be handled with care. I hope Capcom does not fumble. And I have a great feeling in my stomach they won't fumble it. So yeah, that about wraps up the video. You know, I just had to speak on the Code Veronica remake. You know, they dropped the code out to Veronica. I don't know if I really like that, because in the back of my mind, I'm all like, damn, what is they gonna cut? If y'all do cut something, cut out Chris running back through the ruined Rockford. You know, I just feel like it just passed the game. I feel like the game would have been received better if they did cut out that section, and it just, you know, because that's about an hour of gameplay, even though you know what you're doing. So yeah, just cut that part, but keep everything the same. Chris was at his best in Code Veronica. I know he gets overshadowed by his Resident Evil 5 meme, you know, the whole boulder meme and all that, but he was really at his best. Like, he was about his business. He wasn't traumatized by a lot of his team dying outside of like the raccoon incident. He was rock climbing to save his sister. And Claire, she was at her best here too. She was always been a great character. No complaints with Claire. You know, actually, if you really think about it, she could be the most impressive character in the series, because Chris, and when I say in the series, I mean like, you know, just the main four: Chris, Leon, Jill, who's my favorite. Jill's my favorite. So no Jill slanders on the channel. And then Claire. Out of the big four, she's the only one that hasn't really been trained by some kind of military official. She was only trained by Chris. And yeah, you could say, well, he's the military, but I mean, when you're an older brother, you're gonna try to teach your sister how to defend herself. You know, whether she's a child, you know, or an adult. I did the same thing with my sister. You know, when she was a kid, I used to roughhouse with her. So if anybody tried to roughhouse her, if anybody tried to roughhouse with her, she would be able to defend herself. I feel like everybody should be able to defend themselves, no matter the gender, no matter your size, big, small, medium, you know, gay, straight, no matter your race. I feel like you gotta know how to defend yourself, and I feel like that's the mentality that Chris had with Claire, and she was a quick learner. Look at her. So best versions of them, and the environment was very creepy, you know, with the whole prison and everything else. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I feel like it could potentially be the best remake, and I feel like 2 and 4 were very great. You know, 1, I still feel like 1 is the best remake, you know, but I'm not mad if anybody else feel like 2 and 4 is better than 1, because they're all phenomenal games. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling now, but that's just how I felt. Please leave your thoughts down below. Y'all know my slogan. I'm gonna bring it back. Keep your head low, keep your family close, subscribe for more, like the video, and share it to everybody that you know. Much love, everybody. Keep your head up, pray to your higher power, because you're gonna need it in these coming days. For real, I want everybody to prosper and do well. Peace and love. Peace and love. Face signing out.